Hey TV fans, Board now back with you. On this video I'm going to be talking about episode 3 of Sunny, the new Apple TV series. The episode is called Hyoki. Full spoilers from the start of this review. As always, I was pretty positive on the first couple of episodes. And this one continues things along quite solidly. It's probably the weaker episode of the 3 so far, but I still had a pretty good time with it. I would say the robot, Sunny, the title character, is the highlight of the episode actually this time around. I did enjoy a lot of her sarcastic type lines and the way it's starting to build up the character of the robot and the relationship with Susie as well. So this one is set on the day before the funeral of Mensa, the husband, who at this point Susie believes is dead and she's still mourning him. And there's a bit of a conflict between her and the mother-in-law about having the funeral the next day. Like, Susie still isn't ready to do that. The mother-in-law is trying to rush it ahead. And we get a little bit more about what may be going on in the background and the mystery of the show. But at some point, the mother-in-law leaves a box for Susie. She gives it to Sunny, and the box contains the symbol which Susie knows is linked to this underground hacker, and it came from the husband. So this once again makes Susie more determined than ever to get to the bottom of things. So she gets in contact again with Mitzi, who first gave her this idea about like underground hackers and that you can actually hack into your robot. So she contacts her for help, and that kind of becomes the main focus in a way. The first half of the episode is a bit different. It focuses a bit more on the mother-in-law and that stuff. So it was fun to see Mitzi again. I figured she would return as a character, and I was pleased to see her in quite a lot of this episode. So Sunny and Susie go to the bar. By the way, before I forget, another standout Sunny line in this episode is it's when they're back at Susie's place before she sees the symbol and decides, hey, let's go and track down Mitzi again. And like, Sunny is like, I've got you, gal, and Susie's like, please stop saying that. So I just love the robot Sunny is starting to come out with phrases like that, and then some of the phrases she's repeating like that is starting to grate on Susie. That's almost like makes it more authentic as a realistic feeling like relationship. But anyway, she goes to Mitzi, who is a bit off with her at first, but then she tells her the truth. She tells her she wasn't really getting over a breakup, then her family had been in a plane crash and that's why she was really down, and that she tells her she wants to find out more. Then the husband left her this android, so she wants to find more out about what's going on, and she wants to find this hacker so she can hack into the system. And Mitzi is a little bit cautious, but she does say, I will drop round yours later. She drops round hers later. They start having drinks. Sunny is also there. Again, there's some fun like lines back and forth between these two, and the actors have good chemistry. But Mitzi, as I said, is quite cautious because even though she brought this stuff up, she's giving Susie like a warning. She's saying that it's maybe not worth the price. Like, if you go almost to the bottom of this like underworld and you meet some nasty type people, which we've already seen hinted at in the show. In fact, the opening scene hints at that. I'll track back to that later on. But like, she warns her not to, but then she is still willing to help her at least a little bit. so she gives her this connection, this guy who she knows from high school, went to high school with, who now is like an underground or like illegal decoder, she calls him. And again, there's some fun stuff in the scene because she says he's a twat, but then he's a really useful like link to have. It's pretty funny, and this is where like some of the sunny sarcasm starts to come in. That sounds good, sunny sarcasm, but like when she's constantly poking fun at the idea of just going to like these unknown people who you don't know if you can trust. And because it's like later on when they end up at this club and Susie's like questions like, yeah, is this safe? Like, should we be here? And Sonny is again like almost from the peanut gallery. He's like, yeah, should you be? Is it safe to be at the place where the like underground coder gave you the address for? Like, so there's some pretty good stuff from Sonny in this in this episode. So yeah, as I said, they go to like the decoder, and I like this scene because at first he's a bit nervous to help out, and we see later on the sort of people he's connected with, so it's not surprising he's cautious to help out. But what they do, which is quite clever, is you can see that this guy is sweet on Mitzi. So the three of them, all three of the other characters, sort of butter him up by saying that, yeah, she kind of like respects you, digs you, whatever. And it's funny that Sunny is in on the act because it again makes her feel like one of the humans, basically, which is the point of the show partly. But yeah, they sort of butter him up, and then he gives them like the address to this nightclub, and it's meant to be where they'll find like finally the one who's in control of the whole thing and is like the underground hacker. And I think this is my only complaint of the episode, is like these scenes where it's like them going from one place to the other it takes up a little too much time. I think these scenes could be a bit shorter, a bit cut down, or maybe you could cut one of them up. And I don't think it's a massive problem because at the end of the day, I'm enjoying the characters and I'm enjoying some of the ideas of the show. It definitely has a fun, quirky vibe, as I said last week. So because of that stuff, I don't mind this stuff too much. It's just that it did feel a little bit drawn out in the way the first two episodes didn't. Like, I thought they were paced better. But anyway, they end up at this place. And this is where the episode takes a surprising end. Now, the guy who gave them the place, the address, he is visited by these two guys who are clearly part of this underground operation. Or maybe they're CIA or something, but they're definitely involved in something because they start questioning him like, people visited you for information. And it doesn't look too good for him. Now, the episode opened with this scene of a guy being tortured, and they're trying to get information out of him. Now, I think this might be the guy. He did look like him anyway. And there's this character who appears in the episode who we see is like the boss of this whole operation. Like, she's in control, and she's in that scene, so again, there's a link there, but I think this is meant to be the same guy. So maybe this is what leads up to him being tortured in that scene. Although, like, when Mitzi first approaches him, he does have blood on him. So I don't know if that's something which is like already meant to have happened. But anyway, I think it might be the same guy. So they go off to this club, and they finally get taken to this guy. I forget his name now, but he's like a big underworld type guy, and he asks for like 10,000 yen just as like a fee. And they end up, this is where it takes a little bit of a quirky B-movie sort of twist, because Susie tells Sunny to like wait downstairs, wait for them there. and you know that's going somewhere, and where it goes is like she's tricked into like going somewhere. Like one of the guys at the place tells her that Susie wants to see you, and Sunny obviously naturally follows along. And in the next scene, Susie ends up being led down to this underground robot fight club, basically, which is pretty wild. And I don't know if I love it, like, for just how kind of wacky and a little bit cheesy it is, or if I just think it's like really ridiculous and just silly. But also, it is a little in tune with what this show is going for with the ideas. But what then happens is, as she's watching like two of these androids having a fight, I can't believe I'm saying that sentence, it brings back memories of her husband and her son, and sort of doing like playful type pillow type fights or something, but the motions which the robots are doing are the same as he did in the past, and this triggers something again in Susie that makes her believe that, oh my god, he was connected to all this stuff, and that he wasn't telling the full truth to her. Well, wasn't telling any of the truth when it comes to this stuff. And that takes her aback. And then in the next bit, after the first fight is over, she sees that Sunny has been roped into a fight, like Sunny has been put into a fight. And this is the biggest scene so far. Then Susie does care about Sunny and wouldn't want it to be damaged. So she immediately gets in the ring. And it's quite a good scene. Like she steps in and says, "No, you're not fighting, Sunny." And then the woman, the boss lady, steps in and says, "No, this is none of your business. Stay out of it." And earlier in the episode, in that opening scene, we've seen her get like plastic surgery, and she's had like basically her finger, like the top of the finger where the nail is, we've seen her have that replaced. Now, I don't know exactly why that is, whether it's just the sort of things she gets mixed in, she ended up losing one, so like maybe she needed another one, or if it's more just than it's to do with fingerprints or something like that. But she said anyway she needs it because she's going to a big funeral tomorrow, and that funeral is obviously going to be of the husband, of Susie's husband. So it's the same woman anyway, but that is nicely paid off in this scene, because when she tries to stop Susie from taking the robot, basically her finger comes off in the scuffle, and I think it's Susie just like stamps on it to like rub it in her face, and they escape. But this encounter has convinced Susie even more that the husband was involved in all this, and that there's even more to it than she realised. And the way the episode ends is then you have the funeral the next day, and Susie looks up and it's this woman, she's at the funeral, so that even more tips her off. Or gets us suspicious, and that's the end of the episode. So jumping back earlier in the episode, because as I said, we have that scene at the start with this woman and the torture scene. We also have a little bit with the mother-in-law at the home, and we see that one, I don't know if it's meant to be, well, some sort of relative. It was quite a young guy, so I don't think it would be her son, but like some sort of relative, maybe a cousin or something. But he's staying in his room. He's not coming out of his room, so I guess he's still mourning. And we just see certain things, like we see the woman come in, so we see that she knows the family, or knows the mother-in-law anyway. I think she might be talking to her over the phone. But probably the highlight of this part is her and Sunny having like a fight. And we see that because the mother-in-law is anxious to get the funeral going, because apparently Susie has already postponed it like once or twice. So the mother-in-law wants the funeral to go ahead tomorrow. And she also gives the package to Sunny to give to her, and Sunny is arguing on her behalf. Like, it's back and forth. Sunny is saying she's not ready for this, you need to leave her alone, and it's just a good back and forth, and once again shows you how Sunny is becoming more invested and involved and attached to Susie. And it's after that then Susie gets like the package from Sunny, and Sunny relays the message, and Susie's like, yeah, there's no fucking way that's happening. And by the end of the episode, obviously she's probably, because she got distracted with the other stuff anyway, then the funeral does go ahead as planned the next day. But one thing that made me think is that possibly the mother-in-law could be in on all this, what's going on. I wondered if maybe that's why she wants the funeral to go ahead as soon as possible, because of course he's not really dead, or it certainly seems that they've made it look like he's dead when he's probably not. So if she's got knowledge of that, it might be in her best interest to like hurry it along. But or it could just be her way. It could be then she just wants to get it over and done with, out the way. And Susie obviously disagrees, but we get a bit more of the mother-in-law in this episode, which is good because I think she is a strong character as well. So that's episode 3 of Sunny. Yeah, pretty solid stuff once again. I'm enjoying the characters, and I think it is very character-driven, so that's all good stuff. And as I said, the robot fighting stuff at near the end was pretty wild stuff. So yeah, not a bad episode. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like and subscribe as always. Share me out on social media. You can support the channel for as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/borednow. And speaking of Apple TV, they do have another new show starting this Friday, which could be promising. A different kind of show, this time more of a thriller, but it's Lady in the Lake, starring Natalie Portman. Actually, Natalie Portman's first ever TV role, so that's something to talk about. But I will be covering the first 2 episodes of that as well. They're putting them up as like a double, like pilot 2 episodes, and then it's weekly after that. But I will be checking out at least the first couple of episodes of Lady in the Lake. Yeah, see what I think of it. But let me know again what you think of Sunny if you've been watching it along with me. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys again soon. Goodbye.